You're listening to the Archaeology Podcast Network.
Hello out there in Archaeology Podcast land. This is Dr. Alan Garfinkel. I'm the president and founder of the California Rock Art Foundation. And what we do is we identify, evaluate, manage, and conserve rock art both in Alta California and in Baja California. We conduct field trips, we have trainings, exercise, we do research, and in every way possible, we try to preserve, protect, and coordinate treasures of Alta and Baja California rock art, of which there are many and diverse. We also work closely with Native Americans and partner with them to recognize and protect sacred sites. So for more info about the fabulous California Rock Art Foundation, you can go to carockart.org. Also, I'm open to give me a call, 805-312-2261. We would welcome sponsorship or underwriting, helping us to defray the costs of our podcasts, and also membership in California Rock Art Foundation. And of course, donations, since we are a 501c3 nonprofit scientific and educational corporation. God bless everyone out there in podcast land.
You're listening to the Rock Art Podcast. Join us every week for fascinating tales of rock art, adventure, and archaeology. Find our contact info in the show notes and send us your suggestions.
Well, welcome to episode 132 of the Rock Art Podcast. This is your host, Dr. Alan Garfinkel, and we have a thrilling development. We're hearing from a gentleman who has been studying rock art in Africa, a continent that we haven't incorporated into our journey into the study of rock art. He is one of those investigators, internationally, recognized, expert, a scholar on rock art, and been recognized as such. And he also appears on the Bradshaw Foundation. He received an award from ARERA for his lifetime achievements. And his name is Salisu Aminu. Salisu, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Dr. Allen. I can hear you.
And he is coming to us from Africa, from Nigeria, are you not?
Yes, I'm coming from Nigeria, from northern part of Nigeria.
That is absolutely amazing. This is the first time in 3 years we've had anyone at all from your continent on the globe. We've had people from many other parts of the globe, but never from Africa. So we usually kick this off, Salisu, with an autobiographical portrait of what's your background and how did you get involved with the study of rock art?
Thank you very much, Dr. Allen. First, I can say this is a great pleasure for me. I'm very much happy to have me in this podcast.
Thank you.
And it's quite interesting to, interact with a personality like you, Dr. Alan Garfinkel, whom I've been following for a very long period of time. Via academia, I have, read most of your publications,
Thank you, Salisu. I'm absolutely honored. I'm honored to have you. I forgot to tell you that Salisu is a lifetime member also of the California Rock Art Foundation. And
thank you very much.
A huge advocate for rock art preservation and conservation. Am I correct, Salisu?
Thank you. Yes. My background on rock art started around 2012 when I first, the Nigerian National Commission for Museum and Monuments, created the Rock Art and Interpretation Center. That was in 2012. So, in northern part of Nigeria, in the whole of Nigeria, we have, in the northern part of Nigeria, predominantly, we have the rock fencing, while in the southern part of Nigeria, we have monolith. That is in around Calabar when you look at the geography of the country. So when the National Commission for Museum created National Rock Art, Brunonku Rock Art and Interpretation Center, I was employed there as an antiquity protection officer. That is, my role is to, bring up all initiative, all plans, all activities aimed at preserving, protecting each rock fencing site, deposited around that geography. So we started the job when we come to discover that most of the people, the indigenous living around the site, doesn't have much understanding or awareness about how to preserve, how to protect these ancient paintings in this part of the world. So I now started, working with the community, traditional rulers, the people, the youth, all genders, who are living around the area, trying to, create awareness about the importance of this heritage, the value attached with this painting, the rock banks deposited, and all other antiquities found within those rock painting sites. These initiatives, continue to, a kind of people started to appreciate what we are doing and started to understand the importance of this site, which, a kind of youth involvement, traditional rules involvement, awareness, moving up to politicians, they're trying to inform them the importance of coming together to create a policy towards protecting this important site. And one of the important things that helped me in this job is when I first discovered California Rock Art Foundations. When I first discovered California Rock Art Foundation via Facebook page, I now, attempt to, get connected, with the people in the platforms, people like Dr. Alan Garfinkel, Christine Gilman, Nicholas Sons, a lot of people, Dr. Richard John Chapon. I started posting some of the images, rock painting images from this part of the world, sharing it. A lot of people started appreciating, scholars started appreciating what I'm doing, sharing some of their publication. Through that, I was able to learn a lot, to know much about it. Some scholars had to send some books to me, concerning rock art, which helped me a lot to, learn a lot about this ancient painting depicted in this part of the world. And this helped me greatly to continue to, create awareness about this ancient painting depicted in this part of the world. I continue to get encouraged by many scholars around the world, which some have even had to encourage me to start making publications about these paintings, and trying to encourage me to create partnership, with some international organizations who would support me, support what we are doing, so as to have a kind of holistic blueprint or a kind of holistic plans on how to preserve and conserve this ancient painting in this part of the world. This is a little I can see, and this, continue to, a kind of, how can I say it, is just like a kind of, increase my effort, increase my interest, increase my initiative, dedication toward ensuring that these ancient paintings were fully preserved, fully conserved to an extent that we have to invite Trust for Africa Rock Art, Trust for Africa Rock Art in Nairobi, Kenya, through one of their staffs, Mr. Terry Little, whom I contacted him, which we collaborate with him and develop a kind of proposal to the United States Embassy via Ambassadors Fund for Cultural Preservations, whom they have contributed some amount of money towards the preservation, documentation, preservation, and conservation with the help of the community around the place to preserve the ancient rock forms. These are some of the little I can say now. Maybe as we continue, maybe I'll continue to share more about my work in this part of the world.
At the UPS Store, we know being a small business owner means holiday time is still go time. Still get those orders shipped time. And still re-up on stamps and supplies time. That's why this upcoming holiday, while others close up shop, we'll be open and happy to help you keep being unstoppable. Come into your local store today. Most locations are independently owned. Product services, pricing, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable.
What's the easiest choice you can make? Window instead of middle seat? Picking a vendor who sends a great gift basket? Outsourcing business tasks you hate? What about selling with Shopify? Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit a million orders stage. Shopify's there to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell. Wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/try. Go to shopify.com/try now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/try.
Welcome back to the second segment of the Rock Art Podcast, episode 132. We are blessed and honored to have Salisu Aminu live from Nigeria, and he's one of the most prominent researchers in that area, emphasizing protection and conservation of the Nigerian rock art record. Salisu, tell us a bit about how you got involved in this particular niche and what you've learned about the rock art in terms of the kind of rock art, its representation, and what we might think the authors and function might be.
Thank you very much, Dr. Alan Garfinkel. Rock art, I developed a fashion of rock art looking at the ancient, depiction. Rock art in northern part of Nigeria, you find out that were depicted, most of the depiction inside the caves, contains a depiction of cattle, human representations, anthropomorphic human representations, cattle. In some sites, you find some, animals like more of zebras, but more of cattle. The representations in most of all the sites found in this part of the regions are more of cattle representations. And these people were very creative, very ingenious in trying to depict all this painting, more of hiding them under the rock art panel inside the rock shelters. We have about 15 sites in northern part of Nigeria, comprising of both of Jigawa State and in Shira, part of Bauchi State, where this rock painting is located. And one interesting thing is rock art is superb. Rock art is everything. In rock art you learn a lot of things. The depictions, not only the depiction, but how our ancestors were creative enough to left this interesting mark. This this story about our lives, that the cattle, the animals in this part of the world. So, in some of the side, we find out that there is more of human and animal representations. There are some sites where the depictions is more of animals and human. So, there are interesting things. There are a lot of interesting, depictions in this site. And, when you first look at this site, one thing that will interest you is the creative aspect of it, the ingenuity, the power of rock art. When you look at how these images were depicted inside these caves, and the places, the choice of place where our ancestors depicted this art, the message is late, is such that there is a lot of information left for us to decipher, left for us, to investigate, to continue to research, about, the color, they use in depicting these paintings? Why do they depict these paintings? You know, at what particular time they depict painting? Is it this rock painting depiction is more of a, to ancestors tradition? And there are a lot of things that, even people from different universities in Nigeria are coming to this site to come and see it and appreciate, and more of making them interest to research on this aspect of it. So rock art in northern part of Nigeria is something that the people are really appreciating it. People are valuing the place because in some part of most of the rock sites are inside the towns. People used to enter the site. Nobody is approaching the site, or it's more of going to the site to do some kind of scratch it, or people value it, respect it, and even accept it as part of their tradition, as part of their lives, as part of their day-to-day activities. So the work we are doing to also inculcate the passion of rock art in the mindset of our children is such that students from all walk of life, right from let's say primary school up to university level, students from geography, anthropology, sociology, archaeology, used to come to this site and conduct their research. It goes to an extent we have to partner with Ahmadu Bello University, that they are the partner of archaeology, and the Unikali University of Calabar, partner of history, whom we conducted a research on this part of it. And a lot of students used to come here to do their final year research, which at the end of one project we had with Trust for Africa Rock Art, where we, at the final copy of the project, we have to do a kind of travel exhibition throughout the country. Some selected museums were picked, and we exhibit, this ancient painting. Even when you go to London museums, you find Nigerian rock art, both the southern part and northern part, were even exhibited in London museums. And also in Ahmadu Bello University area, we have a permanent exhibitions which is exhibited there, courtesy of Ambassador Science for Cultural Preservation's support, where we do this project in Nigeria. So we really did, a massive work, a great work in promoting, in making people appreciate and understand the importance of rock art, as part of our life, as part of our tradition, as part of our culture. And it's something that we continue to appreciate. And this is what, is making like some universities to even make it part of their final year program to bring some of their students to all these sites, so that we take them to all these sites to show this site to appreciate it. So, rock art is part and parcel of our life, and there is no we can say we cannot do without rock art in Nigeria.
So, Salisu.
Yes, sir.
That's all very interesting. I can connect with your passion and your understanding and motivation. You had mentioned that much of the rock art is centered on the depiction of cattle or animals that have very long horns. And that's the same element, the long-horned element, the horns and antlers of these larger artiodactyls are throughout the world depicted and prominent and predominant in the rock art. How do you understand that in Nigeria?
Yes, some of the cartoons depicted in the rock art sites were no longer you can no longer find them. Most of the cartoons depicted you can no longer find them because most of them are longhorn cattle.
Were these wild or domesticated cattle?
They domesticated. They are domesticated cattle, more of a hunter. Here we have herders. Herders. In this part of the place, most of the indigenous people are herders, people who used to rear animals. And this kind of animals, are no longer there. So there are some instances whereby some people even, maybe you can call it a myth, some even attempt to worship them. They even regarded them as more of spiritual kind of maybe beliefs. They have a kind of belief. There are some sites where you can, some these herders, used to create in the night.
Is there a religious ceremonial life surrounding cattle in Nigeria?
In the past, there are these instances, but for now, because of the advent of Islamic religions, such
Right.
it's not hardly found it. But there are some ritual aspect of it where in some sites, these herders used to go to the site and scratch this painting pigment. When they scratch it, they used to pour it inside water and give it to their cattle for fertility or more fertility. There are some sites with, had this, and we've even seen instances whereby these herders used to creep in the night and they used to scratch some of these painting images and pour it inside water and give it to the herders, in anticipation for more for fertility reason. So, there is element of ritual aspect, there's element of religious, aspect of it. So whatever way you can count it, of course, in the past there's no religion. Now there is advent of religions, and most of these people have now abandoned these traditions and left it.
How do you perceive the function, the metaphor, the communication, the meaning of the cattle images in the rock art? What are they trying to tell us?
What they are trying, these ancient peoples, just like what I said in the past, they were very creative and very inventive. They are trying to tell us their stories. They are very hardworking people. Looking at even the position or the place where they went and depicted these images. And secondly, they tell us, the length, how they travel, they traverse the land, because this site, when you move from one side to another side, let's say from one state, like Jigawa State, where in Borno we have some rock art site, and also in Shira we have some other rock site. You can easily understand how these people traverse the land. They move from one place to another place, and the dimension and the different, the migration aspect and the different cattle in this part of this region and different cattle in this part of the region. Some are small horn, some are long horn, short horn and small horn.
So rock art in part was an identification of the ethnicity of the people, their race, their language, and their relationship to the land. Am I correct?
Thank you. You are correct now. It's no relation of the land and the typography of the land, because there is this interconnection. If you, let's say maybe the people in other part of the land and the people in other, there is this intermarriages, interconnections, tradition, art, and some of the antiquities associated with the rock art site. It tells us that this is the people that are maybe in the past. The connection of the people with the site, the connection with the people with the land, the connection with the people with some of the activities around the area. So it's a very, very interesting thing to learn a lot.
So Salisu, what is the oldest rock art that has been dated or hypothesized in terms of its age?
In Nigeria up to now, we have not dated our rock art site. This is
okay. No dates. Got it.
No dates for now.
Is there evidence for rock art that's older than the depiction of cattle?
I cannot say precisely, because we have to involve the Fatima of archaeology, Dr. Abubakar
yes.
and
yes.
back in the whom and some scholars from archaeology department from
sure.
University, whom we have invited them to come. They have even come and even dug some sites. They picked some of the stones found.
Yeah, I do understand.
In an attempt to try to ascertain the date associated with the depiction of this work in part of the site. So this work is pretty important.
This is a good place to stop, and let's take a break here, and then we'll come back. And I want to sort of close off this third segment with what you want the world to know about the Nigerian rock art, your passion to conserve it and understand it and protect it. See you in the flip-flop, gang.
At the UPS Store, we know being a small business owner means holiday time is still go time. Still get those orders shipped time. And still re-up on stamps and supplies time. That's why this upcoming holiday, while others close up shop, we'll be open. And happy to help you keep being unstoppable. Come into your local store today. Most locations are independently owned. Product services, pricing, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable.
Welcome back, gang, to the 132nd Rock Art podcast with Salisu Aminu from Nigeria and the great continent of Africa. Salisu, I want to know what's your motivation? What should you tell the world about the study of Nigerian, the protection and conservation of rock art that they need to know at this point that's so important? Please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Alan. This is a very big and a very wide questions that cut across the spectrum of the need for Nigerians, not only me, Nigerians from all walks of life to come to the aid of National Commission for Museums, to assist the National Commission for Museums, to assist the community living around the site, to ensure that this site are conserved for posterity, for our children, to come and see the work of our ancestors. And this is part of the mission. The reason why, one of the major reasons why I embarked on this journey is one book I read. I researched on one scholar, Dr. Bernard Fark, an archaeologist who have done a great job in discovering most of the site. And from that, I now say, let me continue from where he left. I now, start, thinking, start of, connecting with some professionals around the world across the country to see that how we can, discover all these sites, identify all these sites, document all these sites, talk with the community, working with the community, with the scholars, both in archaeologists, anthropologists, sociologists, fine art, to see how we can come up, how we can develop a policy, how we can partner with government officials, how we can partner with the communities, how we can create a value, with this rock art. So this continue to motivate me to continue to connect with different people from different fora, from different directions to come, and see our rock art and see how we can work together to preserve it and conserve it for the future. And this is one of the important things that makes me to write a book called Ancient Rock Art of Northern Nigeria, which is yet to get published. It's thank God I have submitted it to my publisher, waiting for him to publish it. Ancient Rock Art of Northern Nigeria, where I documented all the rock painting images in this part of the world. In the books there are about 5 chapters inside the books where all the sites were documented, the typography of the site, the mapping of the site, myths associated with the site, oral tradition associated with the site, community participation toward preservation of the site. And to an even extent, I even initiated another project called Nigerian Rock Art Virtual Tour, where I invited an archaeologist from Colombia whom came to Nigeria. We worked together with him, where we went to all the sites, we document all the sites virtually. The project is ongoing because of funding will stop. And there are also, a kind of project we did together with Trust for Africa Rock Art, whereby we called the project Nigerian Rock Art, Ancient Nigerian Rock Art from Cross River to Jigawa State. In Cross River, we have monolith, where the Abubakar edit, and in the north, we have rock painting sites, pictographs, where we documented all these sites together with Trust with the support of Ambassador for Preservation. And we also did a kind of traveling exhibition throughout the country. We picked some important museums whereby we went there and exhibit. We invited people, different dignitaries, embassies, students, communities there. We invited them traditionally to come and see our heritage, to come and see, the work of our ancestors and learn the story about associated with rock painting site. Rock painting site, rock art is everything. It tells a lot of things. when you look at rock art, when you go to the site, you learn a lot of things pertaining rock art, creativity, fashion, you know, a lot of things, education, many things associated with rock art. There are things that one has to really appreciate, with rock art. So, and this also will continue with the support of the community custodians because they are there living around the site, ensuring that urbanizations, did not catch up with this site so that people will not go and erect somebody around this site and some for distant site, ensure.
So I think the message you're communicating, Salisu, is that you've tried to educate the Nigerian people that this is their ancestors. These are the kinship. This is the heritage. This is the history that they're preserving. And this is the value of understanding and appreciating the hundreds, if not thousands of years of culture that preceded them. And it gives them a perspective on their lives, but it also allows them to acknowledge, revere, and appreciate their heritage, correct?
Yes, sir. Interesting. This is the work we are doing, because, you have to create awareness. We have to promote this understanding. It's by promoting this understanding when we now have the support of the community toward the preservation of the site, toward inculcating some of these values into, curriculums, into our curriculum.
Right.
Primary schools, in some, universities. For instance, like in Amadu University, there, we have a permanent exhibition going on. Students used to go there. There are some scholars who are teaching work at them.
So Salisu, let me sort of interject something. I think it would mean a lot to our listenership on the podcast to have you close out with a prayer or with a, some sort of empowering words in your native language.
Rock art rayuwarmu ne gaba ɗayansa. Rock art wani abu ne da yake bada labari a rayuwarmu. Rock art saƙonninsa yana da ƙarfi, yana da muhimmanci ta yadda za mu fahimci yadda iyayenmu da kakanninmu suka zo suka bar mana wani saƙo wanda mu kuma za mu ci gaba da kula da shi mu kare shi don ya zamanto cewa yaranmu nan gaba za su fahimci muhimmancin da ƙoƙari da iyayenmu da kakanninmu suka yi na sanar da mu tarihinmu da al'adunmu wanda shi ne za mu ci gaba da ƙarfafawa ya zamanto ya haɗa kanmu, ya haɗa mun fahimci al'adunmu da sauran ɗabi'u masu amfani na hikima da basira da ƙwaƙwalwa da suka mana akan wannan zanen dutse. Saboda haka akwai buƙatar fahimtar rock art, akwai buƙatar kare shi, kare wuraren da suke ciki, da kuma sa yara su ziyarci waɗannan wurare don su fahimci muhimmancin waɗannan wurare a rayuwarsu ta duniya.
So translate that into English now.
Rock art, the message in rock art is very powerful. We need to take our children to this site. We need to go and appreciate the work of our ancestors, the history they left, the messages they left on this rock art. The messages is very powerful because in the messages there is our tradition, there is our culture, there is our fashion, there is creativity, there is a lot of things left for us to decipher, to understand, to continue to investigate for the benefit of the people, for posterity. So there is need for a collective, work from all of us, both the traditional world, the community custodian, the students, government officials, to come together and ensure that we preserve, we conserve these places where these ancient paintings were depicted for the benefit of all.
We care about our heritage. We care about our people. We care about those that have come before us. This is our history. This is our inheritance.
Thank you very much.
Beautiful. I like it. Salisu, you are fabulous, and I so appreciate your perspective. And for all the those listening, see you in the flip-flop gang. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening to the Rock Art Podcast with Dr. Alan Garfinkel and Chris Webster. Find show notes and contact information at www.arcpodnet.com/rockart. Thanks for listening, and thanks for sharing this podcast with your family and friends. This episode was produced by Chris Webster from his RV traveling the United States, Tristan Boyle in Scotland, DigTech LLC, Culturo Media, and the Archaeology Podcast Network, and was edited by Rachel Roden.
This has been a presentation of the Archaeology Podcast Network. Visit us on the web for show notes and other podcasts at www.arcpodnet.com. Contact us at chris@archaeologypodcastnetwork.com.